Hello everyone. My name is Istiwahyu Erlina, and in this opportunity, I would like to explain to you about a little project that I just did, which is about relational database and SQL project. In the case of e-commerce for selling used car, in this project, I use PostgreSQL. This is the outline of the presentation. I would explain about the project description and the story behind it. Also, how do I design the database from the scratch and then implementing the database. Also, after that, after the database is created with the data inputted to database, I would like also to try to retrieve the database with the SQL syntax, and then there is the source. First one is project description. So suppose that we have this a website e-commerce to sell and buy used car. This website is made for seller and buyer to do the transaction for used car. To its operational activities, the company store all the data into relational database using PostgreSQL. And let's design the database from the scratch. These are the limitations before designing the database. First, each application user can offer more than one used car product, and before selling car products, users must complete their personal data. Users also can offer their products through the advertisements that will be displayed on the website, and this advertisement contains title, detailed information about the product that being offered, as well as the price and the seller's contact. Some information that must be written in the advertisement as follows. There is a car brands, models, car body type, car type, year of manufacture. Other description. And each user can also search for cars offered based on the seller's user's location, car brand, and car body type. If a potential buyer is interested in a car that he would like to buy, he can bid on the product price if the seller allows the bargaining feature or if it's negotiable, the price of the car. And then we start to designing the database, which includes to define the business rule, constraints, and the entity relationship diagram. These are the steps to design the database. The first one is to identify entities. What is entity? Entity in a database is a thing, place, person, or object that is independent of another. Entities needed for the database in this project is users, advertisements or ads, bids, cards, cities, deals, and payments. After that, we need to identify the attributes. Attributes is a piece of the data that describes an entity. Third one is we need to identify the constraints and the business rule, and then we had to visualize the entity relationship diagram in order to know the relationships between those entities or those tables. These are attributes of the entities that we described previously. The first one is the users table. The attributes are user ID, name, email, phone number, city ID, and date created. Date created is the date of the first time the user created the account in that website. And then we got cities. Cities table has city ID, city name, latitude and longitude column. We got also products table. In this product table, we got columns product ID, brand, model, body type, year, and price. The price here is the initial price of the new car. And then we have these advertisements table, which attributes are ad ID, seller ID, product ID, color, mileage, ads price, description, negotiable, date posted ads, and is sold. This negotiable column is explaining that if the price is negotiable or the potential buyer can bid on the price to buy it lower than the price that has advertised. And then we got is sold. Is sold is mean has the product is sold. And then we got the bits table. In the bits table, we got attributes bit ID, add ID, buyer ID, bit price, bit date, and bit status. What are bit status? Bit status can be having three values: sent, rejected, and succeed. Sent means the bits that have been sent. It's supposed to be on the ads that the status is not sold yet or is sold is false. And then for the product that has been sold, we got rejected bit status and succeed bit status. Of course, the succeed bit status is the status from the bid that has won the auction and the transaction has already happened. And then we got the deals or the transactions. Suppose we have attributes deal ID, at ID, bit ID, and payment ID. And then we got a payment table or payment entity that we have attributes payment ID, payment type, and payment date. Let's take a look of the constraints and keys of the entities. The first one is users. Users table is the table that contains information about the users who carry out sales and purchase the transactions. In this table, we got user ID as primary key and city ID as a foreign key from the cities table. These are the constraints. These are the data types. And then we got cities table is the table contains information of the district or city of the user's position. The primary key of this table is city ID and it has also a city name as a candidate key. We got advertisement or ads table. It's containing information about car advertisements on the website. It has ad ID as the primary key and seller ID and product ID as foreign keys from users table and cars table. These are the constraints and these are the data types. And the next we got the bids. Bids table containing information about cars offered made by prospective buyers on the website. It consists columns bid ID as a primary key and also ad ID and buyer ID as foreign keys from advertisement table and users table. Next we got deals. Deals is the table contains information regarding the transaction that have been deal or the transaction that already happening from the sellers and the buyers. It has deal ID as the primary key and foreign keys from advertisement, bids, and payments. Next we got payments is the table that contains information regarding the payment details as payment ID as a primary key. These are the entity relationship diagram that for those tables that we have identified before. Suppose that we have this. It's a deals table. It has one-to-one relationship to payments, ads, and bids, and so on. The next step is we are about to create the database. We can create the database in PG admin. We just right click on the mouse and click create in database, or we can just writing down the syntax and run it to the console. These are the syntax for creating the table that we've already identified the constraints and the attributes. Next, we got implementing the database. It consists generating dummy data and inputting data to the database. Suppose that we have dummy data. The dummy data we generated with Python Figure, but initially we got these two data already. It's city data and the cars data, and then the rest of the data or the tables are generated with Python Faker. There are several constraints that need to be considered when generating the dummy data, which is also we need to add the constraints to our database that has been created in the pgadmin before. Let me show you about this. I'm sorry, I haven't put it into the presentation, but it is what it is. So the first one is in the users table. The CTID column in the user table is selected randomly for the CTID list in the CTID column that is available previously defined. So we need to make the constraint that the CTID would be from the cities table. And then we have a constraint from for table ads. The date posted ads column must be greater or equal to the created date from the users table who uploaded the ad, obviously. So we got this function to define if the date posted ads is greater than date created from users table. Yeah, and we also have add the constraint to ads table. Next we got bits data. It's kind of a bit more complex than before. First one is if negotiable in ads column is false, then bid price supposed to be the same as ads price. So when the ads price is false, then we need to put the ads price as the same as bid price, the other one, or we can also put it greater if or lower if the negotiable is true. This next one is the buyer ID must be not the same as seller ID in the equivalent in the ads table. So the seller ID and buyer ID cannot be the same. The bid date cannot be smaller than the date posted ads. Also, if ad in bids table has the equivalent status is sold true, then the bid status is rejected or succeeded. So yeah, here we got if the sold is false, we have to make sure that the value of the bid status is sent. Other than that, if it's sold false, if it's sold true, we need to put the bid status as rejected or succeeded. We also add the constraints into bids table. And then on the deals table, we need to generate a payment date. That payment date cannot be smaller than the bid date in the deals table. So yeah, we put it into the constraint we got for the database. If the payment date supposed to be bigger or the same as the bid date. Next. The next one is importing the data. We can import it by the right click of your mouse and then click import or export, and then we can choose the files that we were about to import. We need to make sure that format is correct, and then we move into the options tabs here to define is the header included in our data. And then we move into the columns table tab when we got to make sure that the columns to import is correct. And if it's all set and it seems like correct, you can just click on the OK and then waiting until the process is finished. We got also another way to import the data with the copy syntax. Here are the syntax. Don't worry, I put it on my GitHub so you can just Next one, I try to retrieving the data use query to export the data. Yay! The first section is about transactional query. First one is looking for a car from the 2015 or above. We can select all from public car where year more than 2015. And here are the output. We can also need to add one new product page data. We can use insert into public bits and then putting the columns that we're about to input and then the values. These are the proof. Before we add the data, the count of the rows from the bits table is 5000, and then after we put one new data into the data, it become 501. Next, we got retrieve all the cars advertised by the newest account created. We have to acknowledge or understand that not all our users is selling the car, right? So we got to make the CTA table of the newest seller, which is the seller that is having the date created is the one because, and then we select the product, brand, model, body type, year, mail, age, ads price, date posted, and e-sold. From the ads, we join it in the cards. We join it also with the users, and we put this condition where the seller ID is the seller ID from the new seller that we have defined before with the CTA table. And here are the results. Yay! The next one, we got looking for the cheapest used cars based on the keywords. For example, we are about to search for a car that has Yaris keyword on its model. So we got, we need to choose every column that we need, and then from the public ads we join it in the cards. Since the information about the product model is on the cards table, and we put where our condition here, model like Yaris, and we need to make sure that the car isn't sold yet, so is sold is false, and order by the ads price ascending to get the most or the cheapest one, the cheapest car. Next, we were about to search for the nearest used car based on a city ID. Suppose that the city ID is 3273 with the city name Bandung City or Bandung Kota, Kota Bandung. The closest distance is calculated based on latitude and longitude. Distance calculation can be calculated using the Euclidean distance formula based on latitude and longitude. You can just search for the equation on the Google. So first one we got to build the CTA table with the coordinate of the Bandung, which is latitude and longitude from the cities table where the city ID is 3273. And then we put all the columns that we need, and we put the calculations here, the Euclidean distance formula as a distance. From the public ads, we join it on users and city, and we put also where the is sold, advertised status is sold is false, and we can order it by the distance ascending, so we know the product that is closest from Bandung City or Bandung Kota or Kota Bandung. The next section we are about to try analytical query. First one is ranking the popularity of car models based on the number of bits. based on the number of bits, so it's about the counting. So we put the model and the count listing on product ID and product advertise ID and bid ID from public cars. From cars we join it with the ads and with the bits and group by the model, order by counted. Yeah, and from this output we know that Honda Civic is the most popular model car with the 683 bits in the data. Second one, we got to compare car prices based on average prices per city. So yeah, we put the city name, definitely the brand, the model, the year, the price as initial price. Also the average of the advertised price as average car city. From the ads, we join in with the users and the cities, and we group by all the columns we put in the select section. Here is the output. Next, from the offer for a car model, look for the comparison. So we need to know the first bid date and the next bid date along with the bid price and the next bid price. So we can use the CTA table of the ordered bid, and then we choose the buyer ID, bid that, and the lead to know the next bid date and the next bid price. Also we rank it, and then after that, after the CTA is already built, we select all from the bid next bid here, where the rank is 1. Here are the results. Okay, the next one is a bit more long question. You can read it all here or just pause the video. Here are the syntax and here are the outputs. So we're about to find the average CTA, average bid, and the difference between that and the difference percent. Sorry. Okay, the last one. Calculate average is the bid price for a make and model car for the last 6 months. So we need to define the CTA table of bid month diff, which is we got to know that which table are posted for the last 6 months. So we use filter here. If the month diff 0 means that the data is just the bid has already is the bid's transaction for the last 1 month. When the month diff is 1 is the last 2 months, and following as 2, 3, 4, 5 month diff, and this from the public ads, and we rejoin with the bid month diff with the cars, with the users and the cities. Then we get this table. That's all. Okay, here are the sources that helping me a lot to write this project, and thank you thank you. My name is Istiwa Irena. You can contact me with in this email istiwa@gmail.com, and if you were about to see another article or just my portfolio that I already done, you can just visit this link tree below here. And good night or good morning or good whatever it is, everyone. Have a good day or have a good night. Bye bye.